So, hello everyone. My name is Tori Michelle Feldman, and I'm here hosting this webinar, Find Your Medicine Compass, which I'm extremely excited for. And I'm here specifically to share with you some spiritual revelations that have been coming through, which I was asked to share. And a lot of these revelations are around commitment, around what it really means to commit to yourself, what it means to commit to your vision and your service in the world by approaching all of that through self-care, through honoring you, through honoring your own needs, fulfilling your own needs, and stepping up into your purpose from that place of wholeness. So welcome. And for those of you who don't know me, I am a coach, a teacher, a channel, and a guide. I specifically am a leadership coach for medicine women, for women who are really tapping into their greater life purpose and wanting to walk a path of service. So I'm really excited to connect with you all today and to share with you some really exciting things. So I'm going to go into a little bit of this commitment, and also the relationship that commitment and discipline have to freedom. And then I'm going to talk about a movement that I've felt stirring, that I know some of you are a part of. And then in the end, I'll tell you a little about the Medicine Compass program as an opportunity if you wish to work together. Awesome. So, I also want to be really vulnerable and really real with you. So I'm going to share just from the heart. I've only written out a journal entry that I want to share with you. And I want to be sure, as this is happening, to stay just totally authentic and real. So, hey. And I want to share kind of the process of how I came to this place of understanding as well. So this month of December, I was really being asked to slow down. After feeling so inspired to work and develop my gifts and develop my service and what that looks like in the world since the month of April of 2016, I realized that I was just working, and I was getting really stressed out. And some people say that stress is a perverted relationship to time. And that really rang true for me. So this last month of December, I was really going deep within myself, and I needed to set some really clear boundaries and discipline around what I was willing to experience and what I actually wanted to experience. And all of that translated into a really powerful healing transmission of self-care and what self-care can look like in this new paradigm in a really healthy way. And also what boundaries and discipline can look like instead of being this limiting, constraining thing, allowing for them to be seen from the perspective of actually opening you up to a deeper sense of freedom and excitement and inspiration and knowingness, knowing that you're coming from a place of honoring yourself, honoring why you're here. So this last month of December, I found myself distancing myself from social media. I only went on social media to post, no scrolling at all for the entire month of December. And I found that that boundary was extremely healthy for me, and it triggered a huge shadow of mine, which was the shadow of distraction. And I saw that during the times when I could have been going very deeply into myself, setting strong intentions, really showing up and caring for myself, preparing me for my next level of service, even though I didn't have Facebook or social media, I was finding other ways to distract myself. And I see distraction as being the shadow side of commitment, of a pure commitment that's rooted in devotion and in life purpose. So I actually found myself watching Netflix more than usual. It was like this big addiction to just busying myself with stimuli came up for me. And I'm sharing this from a place of wanting to be vulnerable. I know it doesn't come off as sexy to have any kind of like addiction in this spiritual world, but I just want to be totally real and to share with you that this is a thing for many, many people, especially if you're a millennial that grew up with all of this. And it's really just indicative of a deeper wound, if you want to call it a wound, or a deeper inability not to just be with your power and with being committed to what you know is truly going to serve you best, and by extension, all those that you're here to serve. So I actually, a few months ago, came to this realization. I wanted to reframe what discipline is. And I realized that discipline is like a playpen instead of a cage. Many people see discipline as, oh my gosh, I'm trapped in this cage. I did it to myself. I don't enjoy being disciplined. It's so hard to be disciplined. Why is it always so difficult? And so I reframed that and saw discipline as a playpen. And I saw discipline as this playpen keeping me in this area of what is actually going to serve me. Like if you imagine a child being in a playpen, it's this place full of awesome toys and learning and friendship and laughter. And of course, there's a lot of awesome stuff outside the playpen, but it's really giving them what's most nurturing and what they really need. So a big part of this discipline that we are all being asked to step into regarding our life purpose and our commitment to that is being able to see that it's not constraining us from the greater freedom. It's actually allowing us to be in a place of nurturing and self-love and being able to explore in a healthy way within the boundary of our intention. And so I see intention as also being incredibly powerful, because what is discipline and commitment without the greater intention of understanding why you're doing that? And many people write intentions from a place of, I just want to be able to trust myself. I don't want to get distracted. I don't want to interact with the things that are challenging for me. And I see the intention that we write around discipline and commitment as actually this invitation into finding our yes, into choosing this discipline and commitment from an empowered place. So I'll give a more rooted example. I'll give an example from my own life. So I am a nomad. I love to travel. And I found that I was constantly traveling from place to place to place, jumping all around based on just the surface of what my heart was wanting. The surface of my heart was kind of like the inner child that was feeling afraid of discipline and commitment, because the inner child just wanted freedom. I just want freedom. I want to be able to go where I want, when I want. I want to go off to Peru and Hawaii and Bali. And what I realized is beneath that surface feeling of what my heart's desire was a deeper heart's desire. And that deeper heart's desire was to really make the impact that I'm here to make. And so I realized that I was actually being asked to tap into that deeper space of that impact that I'm here to make and how to actually live that. But I needed to commit to that. It's so easy to just want to be in that place of freedom. And it's more challenging to sink into the deeper intention of what it would actually be like to commit to our life purpose and what Spirit is asking of us to bring through. So what I realized is that in me choosing to commit to my deeper life purpose, to expanding my business as a way of basically walking in service in the world, was that I needed to actually settle down somewhere and commit myself to being in that one place to expand my business. And I found that as I was traveling and jumping around from place to place, I could run my business, but I wasn't really making the bigger impact, creating the network and the structure and the framework and the impact that I wanted to make. So I made a commitment to myself. And in understanding that I was making this commitment to settle down for myself, I also realized that it was actually serving all those beings that I'm showing up for. Not only now with the clients that I have, but also all those that they will touch and all those that they will touch. And by extension, this ripple effect. And also in me choosing to show up and commit to myself, I realized that I am basically taking care of myself, which is a foundational thing, which allows me to feel deeply fulfilled instead of just like the surface of my heart, that just that top surface of the inner child is being fulfilled with its like wants and needs. So And this is where this part comes in. So I began to see discipline and commitment as an initiatory gateway into a greater freedom than I've ever experienced. I know that this goes for you too. So that's what this whole webinar is about, is shifting you into a place of actually seeing your intentional commitment to your life purpose as an initiatory gateway into a greater freedom than you have ever before known and experienced. So in a more tangible way, in my own experience, I see that when I choose to settle down, which I am at the end of this month in Austin, Texas, when I choose to do that, I'm actually opening up a whole new world of opportunity of what will it mean to create that impact? What will it mean to actually affect and serve that many people with that much integrity to taking care of myself? Because the more that I take care of myself as a foundational framework, the more I'm able to really show up deeply and care for others and help them come into their own life purpose as well. And in doing that, I'm also giving myself more financial freedom, allowing for myself to feel more free in how I show up in the world. So although I'm not going off from place to place, I'm actually able to eventually travel to these places offering retreats, travel to these places being able to serve on a deeper level everyone that I come into contact with, whether that's a small conversation or a long-term commitment with a client. And so let's talk about empowerment. So empowerment means seeing that you have the power to choose. Empowerment is rooted in choice. It's rooted in you understanding that you can make a choice from your yes. And this is what we touched upon earlier, was that ability to see that you have a choice in your intention to come from your yes, to come from that juicy place within you where you're like, yeah, that sounds awesome. I can make this choice of commitment from an empowered place. And so in this moment, I invite you, let's get a little interactive. I invite you to close your eyes. If you're doing something else, stop what you're doing, close your eyes, and take a deep breath. So I invite for you to feel the effect that would be made if you chose to commit to taking such deep, nurturing care of yourself. If you took care of yourself, what would that feel like? Feel that in your body. And perhaps that looks like giving yourself time to meditate every day, going for walks in nature, working with the earth, greeting the sun each morning, getting enough sleep, balancing your work with your self-care time. Allow for yourself to just vision and feel what that would be like to be in such harmonious alignment with your self-care. And now feel into how this is actually a foundation for you showing up to take care of others, to really serve others. When you feel that your needs are met, you're like an overflowing cup. And your service just naturally is able to bless all those that you really want to impact in a positive way. So feel that. And now allow for yourself to just envision, to dream, and to feel the effect that that would have if you stepped into your life purpose from a place of being fulfilled, like an overflowing cup. Even if you don't know exactly what your life purpose is, just invite that feeling. What would it be like if I was in total alignment and I knew fully why I am here? And I was acting on that from a place of taking such good care of myself that I just naturally serve others. Good. Now feel into your heart, feel into an intention that's wanting to come forth regarding your life purpose and your service. I'll ask this question. How can you commit to taking care of yourself, understanding that you taking care of yourself is affecting the greater whole and aligning you with why you're really here? How deeply are you willing to commit to taking care of yourself, understanding that in doing so, you're really affecting the world? So find your intention rooted in self-care, service, commitment, discipline, whatever it is flowing through. Really clearly define that now. And when you're ready, you can softly open your eyes. Good. Really good. So that's what it feels like to set an intention from your place of yes. And in doing that, realize that you may or may not have experienced the fear of what you're no longer going to be experiencing in your life. So when you set that boundary of, I'm committed to this, I'm disciplined to this, I'm going to take care of myself. In doing so, you're also pushing other things away by setting a boundary. And a lot of people get really caught up in that lack. A lot of people, that's why people fear commitment and discipline so much. And I know that I have in my own life, I've done this too, is because you're afraid of what you're missing out on. But when you come from this place of empowered choice, really feeling into your life purpose and feeling into your impact, those other things don't matter so much, because you know that there's a deeper calling that's wanting to push through all of that fear, pushing through those old paradigms within yourself of lack and doubt and uncertainty. So you have an intention. I also want to say that you have the choice at all times to reconnect yourself with that place, with your mission, whether or not you know clearly what it is, to understand that you really are here for a bigger purpose. And when you want to tap into seeing what's serving you and what isn't serving you, it's really as simple as just feeling the effect that it has on you as you're doing it and afterward. Like, for example, for myself, I really had to set those clear boundaries around social media because I realized that I was just drained. I was drained from using that. And every free moment that I had during the day, I would just pick up my phone and just like scroll. And I knew that that wasn't healthy. And there was still a part of me that was addicted to doing it. So in setting this boundary for myself and saying, I know that that isn't serving me, it brought up the next layer of me being able to see and face what was deeper beneath that, the deeper shadow of distraction. And that was my own, and you probably have your own as well. So by making an empowered choice, the choice of what you're welcoming into your life versus what it's taking away is going to be the fuel that keeps you committed. And what the choice is taking away really is just what doesn't serve your new way of being. So instead of being like, oh, but I love like being able to just scroll on Facebook and watch funny cat videos. So the part of you that loves that that feels like, oh, that's being taken away from me, that moment of feeling like I'm being productive when I'm really just scrolling, or whatever that is for you in your life. This is just an example. That is really only the part of yourself that's holding on to that old way of being, that's actually wanting love. So that part of you isn't wanting to be pushed away or released or just let go of. It's wanting to be loved. And so this is where a lot of the spiritual work comes in, is in seeing that these parts are really just wanting for you to show up and to say, oh, wow, I see you and I hear you and you're a part of me. So I totally understand. And it's okay for you to be as you are. And then you can kind of go into a negotiation. So this negotiation is between your higher self and your lower self, or your adult self and your inner child. And that can look like, for example, the inner child in myself saying, I just want to be free. I just want to travel. I just want to roam. And then the adult self telling that inner child, oh my gosh, you're so sweet. I totally get that. I totally get that, because you're a part of me. And I want you to know, beautiful inner child, that this actually isn't going to limit your freedom. It's going to allow you a bigger freedom. You're going to adventure, explore, and make the most amazing connections and find yourself the most amazing opportunities. But we're just going to commit to this for a while. And then the inner child being like, well, I don't want to. And the older self being like, well, we can go on vacation sometimes. And the inner child feeling like, okay, I can do that. So in whatever those, that dichotomy is between your empowered choice and your juicy yes, and then that fear of what that empowered choice or intention is taking away, it's just a matter of being in conversation with it, being willing to offer that love to it. So let's see what we want to touch on next. So let's talk about commitment. Let's talk about what commitment means. So with the example of a relationship, like a romantic relationship, sometimes people get really comfortable in relationships and they stay in a comfort zone. I know that I've done this before, where I meet somebody who's amazing and I just kind of get absorbed in the relationship, and I don't give myself the space that I need to really come into my own power. And it's possible for two people to come together in a really explosive and empowered relationship and create great things in the world, like a power couple. But most of the time, generally, the first few relationships that we have in our life are those relationships where we just get comfortable and we kind of bundle up together in bed and are just totally content to be in our own little love zone and not really feel inspired to create, not really feel inspired to step into our bigger purpose and to take action towards that. And so sometimes people get comfortable in that area and stay in the comfort zone, and that's a kind of commitment. So as we're talking about commitment, I want you to ask yourself, what are you committed to? Are you committed to living in that place that limits your potential? Or are you committed to living in the place that makes a new way of being possible? Because either way, you're committed to something. Either way, you're committed to something. So are you committed to staying comfortable, playing small, just carrying on like you are? Or are you committed to that bigger vision and higher calling? So that's just a question that you can turn in and ask yourself, especially in those moments where you feel like you're being called or like pulled or triggered into an old way of being that you know doesn't serve you. So you can ask yourself, wait, what am I committed to? Am I committed to that old way of being that this action represents, or am I committed to a new way of being? And sometimes that's an extremely uncomfortable process. A lot of the times we don't exactly know what the new way of being is that we're being called into, because the other is all we've ever known. And so in you choosing to be like, okay, I'm committed to this new way of being, that is like your message to the universe, to Great Spirit, that you are committed. And in doing so, that opens you up to receiving information about what that new way of being looks like. And that's a powerful time to connect in with guidance, to connect in with, wow, I honestly don't know what this new way of being looks like. Show me, teach me, move through me. I'm willing to open up to this new way of being. I just have no idea what it is. So all you can do in those moments is commit, use that powerful, yes, juicy intention, and open up to be powerfully guided. So yeah, let me read you this quote. This is a Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith quote, and I love it. And I think it has everything to do with what we're talking about. And he says, behind every problem, there's a question trying to ask itself. And behind every question, there's an answer trying to reveal itself. And behind every answer, there's an action trying to take place. Behind every action, there's a new way of life trying to be born. So in every so-called problem, that problem, if we approach it with this perspective, is actually giving us an opportunity to transition into that new way of life, into that new way of being. And so what are you committed to? That's the big question here, is what are you committed to? Are you committed to lingering in the problem, feeding the problem, tapping into the drama, tapping into the fear, the pain, the doubt? Are you really going to limit yourself to that? Or are you going to commit to the new way of life being born? And sometimes it takes a journey. Like that quote, it goes from problem to question to answer to action to new way of life. So oftentimes it isn't just this instantaneous jump, but it really can be. So I want to share with you my own jump that really was quite instantaneous, because it came as this realization, this aha moment that was all around commitment. And I realized I was actually lying in bed late at night, having those kind of late night conversations with spirit. And I realized that I really hadn't been committing to myself. It just wasn't. This was, by the way, just last month. And I realized that in me staying up super late every night, falling into old patterns like watching Netflix, for example, I wasn't committing to those that I was serving, because I wouldn't want to be mentored or guided or helped by someone who just falls into old patterns all the time. And we can talk a little more about that later, because that's something I totally want to touch on. But I realized that, and I said, whoa, in me not committing to myself, in me not honoring my commitments of I will be in bed and lights off, no technology by 11, in me not honoring that commitment, it was affecting all of those that I serve. And so for me, I was actually being served by those that I'm serving. Those powerful, beautiful souls basically came in energetically and were like, hey, we're asking you to step up. Are you ready? And stepping up for me looked like committing to my own boundaries, being disciplined, being committed to taking good care of myself, because I wasn't getting enough sleep in this old pattern, in this old way of being. So what I realized from that is I powerfully chose in that moment, even though my fear was coming up, I went with my powerful, juicy yes, and I chose to commit to taking care of myself. And I realized that in choosing to commit to taking care of myself, I was influencing and impacting all of those that I'm serving now, all of those I will serve in the future, and all of those people that I will bump into, smile at the grocery store, open a door for, and all of those people also have their own ripple effect. And so all of a sudden, in this realization, this aha moment of how important my self-care was, how important it is to commit and be disciplined and really honor my own boundaries, I realized that I could be affecting thousands of people just by taking care of myself. And by extension, over time, those thousands of people turn into millions of people, which is the legacy of a lifetime of what it can mean to really, truly take care of yourself, to honor yourself, to commit to yourself for a lifetime. And in committing to yourself, you're also committing to your vision and to your life purpose and to that bigger thing that's wanting to come through. I see self-care as the most foundational thing to being able to serve in the world. And before, I understood it mentally, but it wasn't a fully experienced visceral realization and feeling. So, in me sharing this, I invite you to just shift your perspective a little bit by welcoming in this new possibility of what would it be like if you were to fully commit to taking care of yourself? How many thousands of people could it impact if you chose to honor your own boundaries and nurture yourself fully so that you're able to serve powerfully? What would be the impact of taking the time to connect in with yourself, to learn and grow yourself? What would be the impact on your life? And where could that take you? What opportunities would that open up for you in your life? What caliber of service would you then be at if every day you took the time to really nurture yourself? And so these are the big questions, and this is the big invitation, really. I feel like this is the big invitation that's being asked on a collective level, is, are you really ready to lovingly commit to your juicy yes of just taking care of you? Are you ready to really commit yourself to believing that your self-care can impact the entire world? Are you ready to be a living example and an embodied prayer? Are you ready to answer your own prayers? That's like really the big question. And that's the big question I keep asking myself is, I wake up and I pray and I ask for support. I ask for guidance. I ask to come more powerfully into my gifts. I ask to align. I ask to clear away all that doesn't serve. I ask to be connected to all those people who I'm really meant to impact. And yes, I'm in conversation with something greater than me. I'm in conversation with my higher power, but I'm really in conversation with myself, because in me choosing to pray and open up and ask for that, it's bringing my awareness to the ability to give it to me first, to give it to myself, to open up enough where I can actually fulfill all my own needs in co-creation with Great Spirit, in co-creation with the mission that's moving through my heart and in my life and impacting the world. Cool. So let's see what I want to touch on next. Cool. So being an embodiment of this commitment to yourself, as though it affects thousands or millions, for some people that might feel like you're burdened by responsibility of like, oh wow, so if I don't take care of myself, I'm not stepping up, I'm not serving the millions of people who need me. And that can feel really heavy. That can feel really heavy. So I want to address that. And just the same as I shared how when I realized that I was in these old patterns, how I wanted to shift these patterns to serve those that I'm here to serve, how it was like those souls that I'm serving actually were stepping in and inviting me into a new way of being. It was like I wasn't just serving them, they were serving me. We were helping each other lift each other up and go to the next level of commitment and of service. So if you're thinking any of those thoughts of being burdened at all by, oh my gosh, if I don't commit to myself, if I slip up, if blah, 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 if you're feeling any of those thoughts, just see it as you are actually being served by millions of souls. And these millions of souls are inviting you into a new way of being. So you committing to taking care of yourself is saying yes and taking a huge step up towards living your life purpose. And in you choosing to say yes and to live that way, to live as that embodied prayer, those millions of people are serving you and you're serving them. But those people, if you commit, for example, if you commit and you stumble or you forget your commitment or you lose or you get off track, there's no harm done. That's what it really comes down to, is there's no harm actually done. You're not hurting anyone. Those souls are all on their own journeys. But if you step up and commit, their lives are changed for the better. And so they are holding an invitation, like a loving invitation. They're not demanding. They're not like pestering you and bothering you and beating you up when you don't step up. They're just holding a loving invitation for you to embody your divine purpose and highest service. So after I had this whole realization, the next morning I woke up and I said, Today, my intention is to live my life as though my self-care affects millions. And I did. And I went through that day seeing everything as so incredibly divine, seeing everything as an opportunity to step up and to give myself what I needed. And it was a huge shift for me because I went from a place of stress and worry and fear and beating myself up to a place of so much compassion and hope. And I also do want to bring in that medicine of compassion into this conversation. Is if you stumble, if you set that intention, for example, and you're like, well, I'm exhausted right now, like I kind of do just want to just watch Netflix. Awesome. That's fine. You don't need to be this complete vision of perfection constantly. It's about you having compassion for where you're at, but not letting that compassion get in the way of that deeper commitment. Because if you become so compassionate that you become comfortable and complacent, you're not really living that deeper purpose anymore. You're once again just living on that surface level of your heart, and you're falling into old patterns. So it's really a balance. And to have compassion with yourself as you move through this journey, consistently making progress. Yay. So what are you ready to commit to from an empowered place of yes and possibility? That was kind of the intention that we touched upon earlier. So what are you really ready and willing to commit to? That's just something you can reflect on. Take a moment to close your eyes. And having received all this, feel all of this information landing in your body. And if there was anything that you didn't mentally understand, that's okay. That's okay. That's actually perfect. Because this was actually a transmission. This was an energetic transmission. And you're not meant to understand every little thing. You're exactly where you need to be, and you've been receiving all that you're meant to receive. So go ahead and take a few moments of silence to feel into your commitment. Awesome. So I would love to share with you about something I'm really passionate about, which is what I see as a larger movement of what we're all doing when we share who we are authentically. And this is something that I haven't really heard many people talk about, but it's something that I'm really passionate about, and I really want to share that with you. So I truly believe that this movement begins with us. And if you are here on this webinar, then you're here for a reason. And I want you to really listen to this and feel if this resonates with you. So no matter where you are in your process, whether you're confused about your direction, whether you know what you're here to do, any place that you are on the spectrum, I believe that you are ready. You are ready. That's the movement, is that you are ready. You are ready. I see a world where women in particular, because I'm so passionate about women, I see a world where women don't hold back. I see a world where women are activated in their mission and they understand what the bigger movement is truly about. And it's about collective shifts and planetary healing through radically being ourselves as we are in each moment, which is what I mean by I believe that you are ready. And so when I was first starting off on this journey, when I was confused, when I was lacking direction, when I felt like I had all this potential inside of me and I didn't know exactly what to do with it, and I wanted to step into my purpose, but I didn't exactly know what that was, I had an incredible mentor, Lauren Elizabeth Walsh. And I saw her as this beautiful, empowered woman who was just so in her service, so aligned, like so energetically clean and clear. And I worked with her for 6 months. And in those 6 months, at least in the beginning, I actually kind of put her on a bit of a pedestal. I was like, wow, Lauren, she's so special. I want to be like Lauren someday. And I brought up to her how I knew that I had powerful abilities to heal. I was extremely connected to the shamanic worlds, and I did energy healing just like the most natural thing. But I didn't feel like I was completely energetically clean and clear. So I brought that up to her, and I was like, Lauren, like, I feel like I can do this, but I'm not ready yet. And something that she said just totally changed my entire perspective. And she said, let's see, I'll use her exact words so I don't quote her wrong. So she said, when you clean the dirt in others, you're cleaning the dirt in yourself. And she said, I am not perfect. I am not perfect by any means. I am so far from perfect. And what that really did for me is it showed me what it's like to authentically just be snapped back into the reality of, oh, we're all on this journey. We're all doing work. And you don't have to be 100% clean and clear and ready and aligned to take action. And so from that day on, I began to take action. She laid down on a massage table, and I did energy work on her. So I was able to actually practice my gifts on her. And afterwards, she was able to tell me, like, yeah, you're ready. And in you just clearing something out for me, which felt really powerful, I was actually clearing something out in myself. And so let's tap back into this movement. So this movement is that you are ready. We are all ready, because exactly where we are is perfect, and there really is no time but now to share your gifts and to share who you are. So my idea of what this movement looks like in this day and age with social media being so accessible is this. You are ready as you are to share all that you are. And you don't need to be 100% healed to be a healer. You don't need to have a massive following. You don't need to bend yourself to meet someone else's expectation of what service is or what service means. You are here to serve by being you, exactly as you are, and radically sharing that truth with the world. So what does this look like? More realistically, it can look messy. It can look raw. It can look intense. It can look scary. Your ego might freak out. I know that mine has, definitely. And I really feel like that is what everyone is craving, an honest, vulnerable, and raw authenticity of just showing up as you are, no matter where you are on the path. And so that's something that I'm really passionate about. Like, yes, I'm in this position now where I am mentoring people, and what a blessing that is. And I am serving people, and I am in my service, but I don't want to get on this webinar with like this polished image of perfection. I want to show up as who I am and just share my medicine with you. So I want to be raw. I want to be authentic. And that's what I love seeing in others. So that's what I am doing, is I'm embodying my prayer of what I wish to see in the world. What I really want to see in the world is so many people just so activated and aligned in their hearts and the truth of who they are and fully expressing that. And so if I want to be in that world, I got to step up. That's my commitment. I'm committed to stepping up into being a living, breathing embodiment of my prayer and of my wishes and dreams. So this can manifest in many ways. And what that has looked like for me is putting myself out there when I have a message I want to share, even if the message is me having a breakdown or navigating through my darkness or feeling defeated by my ego. And the secret to my success isn't that I have any special ingredient that no one else has. It's that I'm choosing to show up as me in whatever that looks like, because I am the only one like me in the world. And you are the only one like you in the world. And so we're moving out of this old paradigm where women change themselves or temper themselves or belittle themselves to meet an old standard of what we were told we were supposed to meet, whether that's the way that you show up in your relationships, your life purpose, your service in the world, or how much success you can achieve. We're moving out of that old place of trying to meet the expectations of society, and we're moving into this new paradigm. And what I believe the heart of this movement is coming out full force with radical authenticity, heart-centered, and sharing our truth for what it is moment to moment. So you don't have to look shiny with great lighting and professional makeup, and you don't have to rehearse what you're going to share. It's just you being as you are, choosing to say now is the time, not later. And that's what's really going to shift the world. You don't have to be 100% ready, just be you as you are, and you are ready as you are. So this obviously goes beyond just social media. I was using that as an example because that's my own journey. And this movement is hosted on the spiritual battleground of our everyday life and our everyday interactions. And this is what I'm passionate about. So if you feel resonant with me, then I think you'll probably love this new program and series that I'm about to tell you about, which is called the Medicine Compass Alliance. So I'm excited to share this with you just for a few minutes. So I want to link this Medicine Compass Alliance program into this movement. So no matter where you are, whether you have a lot of fear about stepping into your power and what commitment looks like for you in your life, whether you have doubts about, is this my life purpose? Is this my path? Whether you have hopes and dreams, or whether you're totally unclear about any of it, then you are ready to step into who you are authentically. There's no wrong time. Even if you have fear, even if you have doubt, you are ready. And that's what the movement is about, is we're not here to show up like, woo, I have no fear or doubt, I'm ready to go. It's actually you choosing to show up and take action with that fear and that doubt, loving that fear and that doubt instead of pushing it away, because that's what creates a shadow, is repressing that and rejecting that. So basically, the Medicine Compass Alliance was born out of a lot of phone calls that I was doing with women who were interested in the Medicine Path Apprenticeship Program. And I was encountering generally two different groups of women. One group, the ones that were in full alignment and ready to walk in the Medicine Path Apprenticeship Program, were women who knew why they were here. The apprenticeship program was for women who know why they're here, and they really just need structure, support, framework, guidance, encouragement, and an action plan to walk their life purpose instead of just talking about it. So that was one group of women that I encountered. The other group was women who were really just needing more direction, that weren't quite as clear, that were like, I don't really know why I'm here. I really want to know my life purpose. And in those phone calls, we were able to really go deep and to access like what the true dreams were in that sister's heart and to bring a lot of clarity to it. And so once the Medicine Path Apprenticeship Program filled up, I realized that I was being called into service by all these other women who are really needing direction, who are really wanting to turn into their own internal guidance system and to guide themselves, to learn how to step up into their own wisdom and their own power to guide themselves. So this program, the Medicine Compass Alliance, was born from the collective of women who feel called towards finding their direction and also towards doing that in community, stepping into heart-centered service and into their spiritual gifts and life purpose. So this program is really community-oriented, and it's about that bigger movement that I've been talking about of you are ready. Let's figure it out together. So it's specifically for women who want to find direction and to be confident in what they're here to do. So even if you have an idea of what you're here to do and you're maybe lacking the confidence, lacking the support, lacking the tribe, that feeling of like, yes, I'm ready, like the world is ready, I feel supported, then this is really going to be helpful for you. And the Medicine Compass program is about honing in on the direction that will most serve your unique gifts. And together we implement action steps aligned with your spiritual mission to get you prepared to walk your path as a healer, as a leader, as a teacher, or whatever else you're wanting to birth in the world. And shamanism and spirit guide work are central to the Medicine Compass Alliance. So what that looks like is each month I am going to be hosting a webinar as well as a Q&A call. So I'm going to be stepping up into a position of giving you all sorts of really practical practices, techniques, and even worksheets to explore yourself really honestly and really explore why you're here and what you want to do. So this is a structured way for you to learn how to guide yourself and to find your direction and to walk that powerfully. Yeah, so it's about you learning how to guide yourself, like I said, and you can learn this by growing through life experience, and that can take years and years if you just learn how to guide yourself that way, or you can commit to an incredible, juicy community container of spiritual light workers, and you can learn how to guide yourself with confidence sooner and start living your life purpose now. So that's what I want to offer to you as an invitation, is you don't have to wait. You don't have to struggle to gain these realizations and to finally come to an understanding of who you are. You can do that with community. There's help, there's support, there's assistance. And in you choosing to commit to yourself and what you're here to do, it will probably help for you to commit to a container that will hold you accountable to your ability to show up for yourself and serve the world through your mission. So this can bring some fear up for people, and I just want to say that that is okay. Like I said before, it's not about being totally fearless or doubt-free. It's about stepping up into your spiritual calling, even if you don't know what that is yet, by just taking the next step, the next action, and working through your fears and your doubts that way. So this is also for those of you who felt called towards the Medicine Path Apprenticeship Program, but you don't feel quite ready for the apprenticeship program. And this Medicine Compass Alliance is a precursor. So after doing some work in this program, the chances are that you will be ready to walk in the Medicine Path Apprenticeship Program and fully step into your gifts in that container. So the Medicine Compass Alliance is for you if you really feel called to step up into that next level. And it's for you if you want to develop your spiritual and intuitive gifts. We're going to be doing a lot of spiritual work, really practical work, guided meditations, worksheets, allowing for you to really tap into what your gifts are and how to hone in on them. And it's especially for women who strongly resonate with community as a vehicle for growth, expansion, and awakening. So what do you get from it? You will be guided through powerful life purpose work on a spiritual and a practical level. You're going to get really clear on what you really truly want and what you're being called to do. You'll find your direction and you'll trust your intuition. We're going to work on formulating action plans and getting support around it in a community container. And you're also going to be getting mentorship and guidance from me. And it is my mission in this container to activate you and fill you with confidence and guide you to be able to guide yourself. And it's all about empowerment through honest spiritual self-exploration and action. So this is about basically healing that distance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine that lives within all of us. The divine feminine is intention, being in your intention. And the divine masculine is actually walking that intention. So action. So it's taking, talking about your life purpose and the idea of actually living it and combining them together into intentionally walking that path. So how does it work is this is a month-by-month program, and you can join me at any time and you can leave at any time. So you can stay for 1 month, 4 months, 6 months, or even years, depending on how deep you want to go. And what it includes in the most simple terms is, like I said, 1 webinar every month, including that hands-on material and practices and exercises, as well as spiritual teachings, transmissions, and energetic attunements. And in addition to this webinar, I'm also hosting a Q&A call every month where you can call in, ask any question you have about your spiritual journey and life purpose, your business, your gifts, and get answers from myself, as well as support from the community. We'll all share about our accomplishments and realizations and our wins, as well as our roadblocks, our fears, our doubt, and what it's like to move through confusion on our way to direction. And the way that this community container is held is not only through the webinars and the Q&A calls, but also on a Facebook community page, which will be private just for those that are in the program. So you get a really intimate, deep community container that will also connect you with other light workers who have similar missions. Like perhaps you have some gaps and like you want to form a community, for example, or you want to form a retreat and you need a certain kind of healer, or you'd like a certain permaculturist to join your community. This is going to connect you with those light workers. This is going to build that place for you to express and communicate what you're wanting, what you're needing, and what your troubles are, so that we can all heal them together, come together as a collective, and take action. So each month we're focusing on a different aspect of how to step into our gift and our calling. And it's all centered around heightening your intuition, connecting you with your internal guidance system, and helping you be your own source of direction in life. And it's designed to bring you clarity and support to find your mission, and if you choose, to walk it. So I'm keeping it really practical. And if you choose to really step up, you will gain the benefit of actually walking on the path of your life purpose. And last but not least, you get the benefit of being in this beautiful community of light workers, or light players, as I like to call them, to support you in your journey. And it's about being a part of something bigger, being an active player in the new paradigm world that we're birthing. So if this feels like it resonates with you, or even like you're interested in exploring the opportunity and asking questions, go ahead and schedule a free 20-minute one-on-one Medicine Compass call with me, and we'll do some work around your life purpose to really bring you some clarity, and we can explore if the Medicine Compass Alliance is calling you. So I'm dropping the link for making those appointments into the chat box right now. There we go. And awesome. I'm loving these comments. So I saw that someone asked, they said, that quote was mind-blowing. Who did you say it was by? And that was Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith, who is amazing, totally incredible. And that's a quote that I really, really enjoy, and it comes to mind and heart so often. It's really a powerful one for helping us step into our power. And Christian says, this message is perfect for me. I've been feeling so drained, and a more dedicated self-care regimen is the message I'm being called to listen to. So yes, this is a collective journey. This is a collective journey. You're being asked to commit to yourself. You're being asked and invited and supported and called out and in by all of those beautiful souls that are asking for your service to come to be in the world. So thank you so, so much for joining me on this journey. And I hope that this tweaked some things, assisted you, transmuted some energy, and allowed for you to really commit to taking care of yourself, stepping into your mission, and also taking action. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, and thank you to that person on the iPhone who, I don't know who you are. If you want to comment your name, you said, I felt called here, and you gave me the exact message needed. So oh, that fills my heart. And I'm just going to seal all of you watching this in a beautiful golden light. And I say from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for showing up. Thank you for being who you are. You are ready. You are ready. You are ready. You are ready. And you are here. You are here to create that impact you want to create. So thank you. And once again, if you want to make that free 20-minute call with me to explore the Medicine Compass program, go ahead and click that link, torimichelle.acuityscheduling.com. It's in the chat box. I'll also send it in an email. And I wish you a beautiful, blessed day as you continue to unfold into your sacred purpose and presence. So awesome. Love. Bye.